Namaste, my intellectual pioneers. It feels so good to be back in this position. It has taken me quite an extensive journey these last 17 months of my life. As I mentioned, I went through a experience of schizophrenia last year, and my devices like computer and phone just went to doo doo right after I got out of the hospital, and so I just have been taking quite a vacation, but I'm finally back here, back to it, and for me, this point of recovery has been leading up to this. This is one of the concepts that I really want to get across on the channel. And simply put, as I've written it, it is how to become someone worth a damn. I got about 10 pages written, but I unfortunately never finished it. So when I get to the end of this here, I'm going to try to just expand upon it a little bit and see where it goes from there. But I'm excited to get to it. I've been meeting so many new people lately, and I'm just happy to be able to share this experience and bond with everybody out there in the world. But it goes like this. Greetings and salutations, fellow people of the planet. I hope I caught you doing well, but if not, perhaps these words could bring you some comfort. For allow me to give my best advice in becoming someone worth a damn, a person with valuable character that heightens the collective society we share, someone that brings forth vision and finds themselves in successful ambitions completed. And as for a starting rule, giving respect gets respect in this world when dealing with other people worth a damn. Another rule is treat others on how you wish to be treated, with the hopes that it's within the realm of kindness and fairness. This world would shape up for the better if we experienced more of this. For we are in this eternal war of good versus evil, and I would like to be a contender for the greatness we could share together. As it is that dream that motivates me, I'd like you to search within yourself. What kind of substance gives you the energy to push forward? Is it money, women, men, adventure, experiences, family, or artistry? What kind of soul do you bear and exist within this world with? As it's a starting point in this journey, understanding yourself well enough to build up the confidence to reach for the stars. One must know their limits to transcend these afflictions we face. As for another rule to be someone worth a damn, knowledge is power, and power leads to freedom. And being free is a lifetime goal some never get to experience, as we're constantly forced into slavery to provide ourselves food, shelter, water. Some don't get the chance to live and find themselves with many regrets, which is why it's so important to take the time to figure yourself out as early as you possibly can, because you will change at your own rate and become confused if you don't have a handle on the complexity of your conscious and unconscious mind. And that confusion will lead to anxiety, depression, and a lack of will to survive. And we wouldn't want that, buddy. For it's a cold abyss that's hard to resurface from. But these hardships are what shape a person to be worth a damn. For we need to be vulnerable enough to get hurt, so the healing process thickens our skin, so we can handle the problems we've created for ourselves. as life journey is majorly keeping balance between work, friends, family, and hobbies. It can be difficult to address each problem properly, like when arguing with a friend, or losing your patience at work, or finding yourself at a creative block, unable to do the things you once loved, or losing someone important in your life. Each one needs to be reconciled differently. Otherwise, you'll build up a tension of stress and take it out elsewhere, probably on a loved one or yourself. Or it could get even more intrusive, becoming a regret, which will weigh you down and increase the difficulty of your life. I'd even argue that people worth a damn often have a sound mind, body, and spirit to deal with the stress of living, with each aspect requiring disciplinary techniques, which I'll cover briefly. For a sound mind consists of intuition, confidence, knowledge, conscientiousness, and morality. For a sound body consists of stretching, exercise, dietary implementations, discipline, and even yoga, tai chi, Pilates, mixed martial arts. And for a sound spirit, as surreal the concept is, entangling aspects of the soul is conquered by morality, discipline, and emotion. For morality is essentially psychological drama that dictates the human experience, and discipline is the level of control to which you operate in life with. So both are quite important to the collective of our society. But the third is what I find most important of all, for emotion is the centerpiece between the conscious and the unconscious mind, creating the illusion of feeling that transcends our interactions with the world and ultimately stimulates the experience of life itself. So the question may be, how do I manifest this control over my life? How do I escape the prison of my own mind and challenge life itself for the greatness one could achieve? I'd say it starts with acknowledging how powerful you already are. Having the ability to make life-altering decisions at the drop of a hat, like quitting school, hurting somebody, joining a club, taking that risk for growth, or letting it slip by. Ending your life, or creating new ones. As expressive individuality is limitless, I'd say it's the starting point in becoming a free spirit, which is a rather amazing way to live life, loving yourself for who you are and exploring life's grand adventure in naivety. But the way we escape this prison of our own mind begins with a desire beyond the will to survive, a desire to live, a passion to experience life in the way we want, claiming ambitions to fight for, motivating ourselves to conquer feats, and disciplining oneself to push through the obstacles in our way. Once again, that's ambition, motivation, and discipline. A combination that allows you to achieve near anything in this world. But not let it be forgot. The simplest way to be worth a damn is just helping out your fellow friend, whether it be family or a stranger. The world needs as much help as it can get. But we oftentimes have to help ourselves first before we can help others, by organizing the time we have with the knowledge we possess, to discipline ourselves enough to reach a threshold for success. And we may fail many times before we succeed, but giving up and accepting defeat will only lead to despair. And what we creatures feed on is hope. The hope things get better. And that is as far as I made it. Here we are, addressing a concept of becoming greater than your yesterday self. And that's kind of where I'm at a lot with it, is just trying to be better, a better version of myself than yesterday. Taking in all this information, realizing that there are three aspects in life: the past, the present, and the future. And oftentimes within these three spaces, the present to the future is full of anxiety, stress, wondering what's going to happen in the world, how are people going to see me, what am I going to do if the teacher gives me an F in class. I studied. There's just, did I study hard enough? The anxiety of I don't like how I look, and there's just so much aspects within the present to the future where we find anxious thoughts derailing us into what could be, what is, and how we view things. Now, the present to the past is often where we find ourselves lost within depression, these feelings of regret, moments that have happened in our life that we know now. If we brought our knowledge back then, life could be so much better. There would be so much more change. There's this area of just what could have been, and you sit on it. And then also to the present of, I don't like how I am. I don't know what's going on in the world, and I just want to rest. Sit down, cry, and because I feel lost, confused. And the third point being the present. Somehow not being caught up in the future, not being caught up in the past, but being one with the moment. And only through meditation have I been able to reach a point where I can slow down those thoughts of the future, slow down those thoughts of the past, and harmoniously come together to become one with the universe. There's just an exciting exclamation point to finding out who you are and what you can do with the amazing reality of your limitless potential. Being worth a damn is and should be the bare minimum of our society, where it goes past the will to live, and we're cultivating in these experiences between one another. We're trying to be more honest to ourselves. That was such a huge aspect for me once I started being more honest and not lying about how I feel or who I am. But because of that, I lost friends. That does happen along the way, where you stop following the trends, you stop following the crowd because you're looking in at yourself and you're realizing, am I just mimicking everybody else, or do I really like the position I put myself? Are my friends catering me towards avenues I want to? Friends leading you into the cinema, wonderful music, hanging out, talking for hours about amazing things, or your friends leading you to let's get high, let's get drunk, and explore avenues that way. It's not necessarily bad in a sense. It more comes down to moderation for a lot of those factors. But the more and more that I've gone in through life, it seems like the less friends that I have, because finding the authentic reality of who you are can go so deep down the rabbit hole. Nobody wants to follow you. Nobody wants to examine quantum physics and alchemically transmute it to higher degrees, taking these tiny things and applying it to larger aspects in the world, the string theory, the space-time relativity, all trying to grasp the metaphysical universe. There's these subjects that I would suggest enhances your cognitive functions, like psychology, philosophy, science, and religion. These four building blocks for how we operate in life, what we're doing, what's going on. But oftentimes people forget the origin of religion in that regard, and that stems over 5,000 years ago with the Anunnaki. An meaning sky, and Ki meaning earth. And I'm Native American with 25%, the rest European or so, you know, a mud blood, just a dirty breed, whatever. We're all mixed and matched of all things. I was surprised enough to find that my grandma was 100% Native American. Just that purity is rare these days. And, we can get lost in family and tradition through all these things, but being a Native American, a lot of the concepts for the beginning is Father Sky and Mother Earth. And it just seems so how interesting they correlate together in that harmonious view. But before I diverge into perhaps a more complicated comprehension of what I've been going through lately, this was dedicated towards how to become somebody worth a damn. And I hope that I was able to address certain things in that regard. Please ask me questions about what makes. Just ask me questions if you feel there are areas that I didn't cover. I can only do so much to reach a large and wide audience. There's many people don't know because I haven't said it here, but I have subscribers from the age of around 12 to the age of around 75. So with that spectrum there can be difficult for me to pinpoint my audience. So I try to be large, I try to be generalized with my vocabulary, but sometimes I can get taken away by words as they whisk me asunder. And absolutely. But I love you guys. This is the best I've felt in a long time, and I hope that you're doing much better, and I can bring a smile, or just a little bit to bring back for the depression to the future. How I fix that one is loving myself for who I am and what I am, which allowed me to forgive everybody in the past for all of the hardships that they put me through. It's like, as long as I love myself for who I am, all that they did is they shaped me into who I am. I am the dull metal in the world, and everybody else around me is that hammer pounding away at me, shaping the steel that I become. And now being a double-edged sword on that spectrum. I try to be the best that I can, a symbol of goodness. And the higher of good that I get, there's that equal sense of darkness, of evil. And there's that higher frequency and depth of intensity between it all. And if you're curious, I've been trying to grasp some symbolization on myself ever since that schizophrenia. It's brought me closer to a higher substance beyond my comprehension. And I just figure we're all in this together, and we have to try our best to accept, hey, We didn't ask to be here, but we're here now, so let's do the best that we can. So, happiness, peace, love are some of the more valuable feelings and experience that we can have together. What if somehow we all become intelligent enough to realize that we don't need to fight with one another, with we don't need to give them the old 1-2. We don't need to shoot people. All we need really is to have these heavier conversation debates, talking about opinions, perspectives, and maybe having a fight club or so, an arena. Have an arena for where we want to dish out all this. That's also a good movie, Fight Club. I would recommend to check that out. It's kind of it would be interesting if we implemented that into the world. But seeing around 20 minutes here, my intellectual pioneers, stay frosty, stay gleaming, and sparkle on through.